early in the week, we said, should we take another shot? Should we maybe put $4,444 of our bankroll in a contest? And there were some murmurs, some whispers, maybe a little bit outside of our comfort range right now based on our bankroll. And we said, no, it's a flat payout structure. Things will work out well. It did not work out well. I've never not wanted to do this show more than I do right now. I can't even get sad drunk. I'm having to choke down a red stripe. It's the tilt space. Joe Holka, Michael Leone. If my internet just happens to go down and I'm not here in a few minutes, I don't know what happened.
Some technical difficulties that can't be helped. If that happens in the next 3-4 minutes, I apologize, and we'll see you guys in week 14.
It's difficult when you spend all week working on projections, doing content, talking about plays, making lineups, getting excited. Then you sit down at 1:00. You just pay so close attention to every little thing that's happening. And then you're just an hour and a half in, just dead your whole week. Was it worth it? Is that how you chose to spend time in your life? I don't know. I guess it is how we spent to choose our time. I'm not even saying the correct words in the correct order right now. That's how I feel.
I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was meditate for 15 minutes because I have this bet with Davis where I have to meditate for 15 minutes and read for 30 minutes each day. My day has been all downhill since the second that meditation ended. Just complete downhill disaster. Joe, why don't we tell the people what lineup we ran here?
Sure.
We have to.
Okay. There she blows. There she blows. Actually, hang on. That's Leone's nosebleed. There we go.
Don't show me the.
Leone came on. Joe goes, let me pull up some of Mike's contests. I'm like, you probably don't want to do that. He's like, 15 out of 15.
Dude, I swapped too because I was in such bad trouble that I swapped to a Herbert stack. I'm in last place by 42 points. That's tough to do, guys. I feel like I won some sort of Raz game. I have 62 points, and the next closest team is 105.
And there's chalk in this lineup. There's literally, you got Myles Gaskin at 50%. You got Booker at 26%. You got Fercer at 80%. Isabella at 26%. And you still have 62 points.
I don't think I've had more snowflakes in my lineup ever. I thought it was a Raz contest. I needed a certain amount of plays for it to count, and then lowest score after that.
This is actually making me feel better.
Is it?
A little bit.
Losing 10K?
Leone, let's be real here, man. I'm staring at $0 return in the face, just like you are. So
yeah, I'm looking at Leone's lineup, and I'm like, is this liberal Twitter or DraftKings with all these snowflakes?
Dude, the worst part was I really got onto Davante Adams late this week. When Dink and I did the Establish the Millie show, we were going through it, and it's like, Davante Adams. And I talked to you guys, and we were, pretty in on Adams. And then things went so poorly early, I had to swap off all my Adams. And I don't think it would have made a difference because things went poorly early. It was the correct move to swap, but does that make it hurt less? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah, that's the thing that was brutal too, is so then we were going through and adjusting a bunch of our lineups. What happened?
Leone hit a blizzard comment in chat, just really got me.
Yeah, I mean, if you were in a weight loss bet with Kitchen, this is the kind of blizzard that you're allowed to have.
Joe King, this is a bad score before the late games.
Well, we had put a decision that we were going to fade Henry and Cook and go heavier on Davante Adams, which I think was fine and smart. And then we were so buried that because Devontae was going to catch ownership, we had to pivot all that stuff to Aaron Jones and DeAndre Hopkins, which is going just great, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He's really fantastic as Devontae Adams, crushes. And Dalvin, I mean, he got there off because the Jaguars down 8, score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. Then Dalvin gets points coming back the other way at the end of that game. Then Dalvin gets points at the start of overtime. Then Dalvin gets points their second drive of overtime, hits the bonus. He goes from like 16 to 17 to 27, which is a pretty big difference at 9,500.
Dude, he almost scored in overtime. Like,
Yeah,
they just refused to kick the field goal.
scored.
Like, I was like sitting there just watching him about to go in the end zone when all they had to do was kick like a 25-yard field goal. I was like on mega tilt at that point.
Yeah, the blood was boiling. The Dalvin owners almost got a 30 spot in this one. And I like Dalvin. I mean, but the ownership, I don't know. I'm trying to think through, we try to think through lessons. Like, what did we learn? We don't want to be too results oriented. The one thing that maybe I made a mistake on, we made a mistake on, was because there were like 6 chalk running backs, I was kind of like, well, I'll just play my favorite of the chalk running backs. And I don't know, maybe could have just not played any of them. But, Gaskin easily could have gotten there, who I loved and played everywhere. The Booker play, I thought he was going to come in less owned. This is the one I guess I'm thinking about a little bit more, is the Booker play. Thought he was going to come in less owned than Montgomery. He does. He comes in about half the ownership of Montgomery, maybe not quite half, but it was still chalk ownership, even though it was less than Montgomery. In our stuff, it was still 25 to 30%. And maybe I should have just not played Montgomery or Booker. I'm not going to beat myself up on the results on Montgomery. Whatever. He hit.
Kenyon Drake touchdown. Those are always fun when you're just
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When
I'm like
does
trying to
Isabella
figure out
season
what
start?
some of my lineups even were, because they like don't even resemble what I started with on the day for most of these teams. Like, that's how bad the 1 p.m. slate went for me. Literally, like, my only Waller share was also my only Derrick Henry share. Like, good God.
Devontae Adams up to 36.2 DraftKings points.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we wanted. I'm in pain. It hurts, guys. It hurts. And Kiki Kutichak goes off, which, I mean, whatever. It was a good play, but
At least it wasn't Cook's chop. Could have been worse.
Yeah.
That was one I didn't understand. I mean, maybe I'm just a sick fish. I like the target share and all that stuff, but I mean, who didn't see the Cook's chalk failing? He needs that alpha on the other side. We've seen that like literally his whole career.
Oh, Devontae almost had a 3rd touchdown.
I thought one of either Kiki or Akins was going to have a decent game. I didn't think Kiki was going to do what he did, but I don't know. I wasn't trying to play like all 3 of them though at that ownership.
Well, I mean, we were kind of in this lineup, maybe debating Jordan Akins or Kyle Rudolph. It's nice to know we got the 3 points from Akins instead of the 0 from Rudolph.
True.
The only thing that could have saved us this week was you guys were on, and Dink was on it too. I wasn't as on it. I was open to it because you guys are sharp and Dink is sharp. If we would have played the Raiders stack, we obviously would have had Waller. Process-wise on Waller too, a big part of playing these smaller fields is finding who's going to get squeezed ownership-wise. And I didn't think Waller was going to be that low. I want to take the results out of it because he scored 17 more fantasy points than he scored all season long, his previous high. Like, whatever, that happens. But he came in at 6% everywhere, which I think you would have said, let's play Wall. If we knew he was 6%, I think we would have played him, undoubtedly, not even knowing the result.
Yeah.
And I noticed that this morning because I like to pull in a few different ownerships, and earlier in the week he was at like 17 or 18% average ownership, and this morning when I updated he was down to 10%. And I was like, okay, and I ended up running him in my spy lineup, which I'll talk about tomorrow, and I would never make you guys suffer through it here, but I do think that might have been just like a wake-up call for us to be like, hang on, let's shake ourselves here. The best tight end play on the slate in a great spot with plummeting ownership. Yeah, like we should have thought that through more.
Yeah, and the other thing too is volume, if you have guys that are going to see volume, they have a ceiling. I think sometimes we overthink like who has a ceiling and who doesn't. And essentially when we do that, all we're saying is, well, do they have a big game in their game log is what we're saying. We're pretending like we have this smart like range of outcomes things, but essentially what we're saying is, is there something in their game log that makes us feel comfy? And I think with both David Montgomery and Waller, I probably gave into that a little bit more than I usually do, where, if you're going to see the target shares that Darren Waller's seen, like he's seen 25+% target shares, you have a ceiling game in you. If you're going to see targets and goal line carries like David Montgomery, you have a ceiling game in you. Now, I don't feel bad about fading David Montgomery at his ownership, but I do think like the ceiling component of it was something I probably overthought.
And the thing we talk about, there's this narrative. We've all said it, tight end is gross. It's a dumpster fire this year. And so everyone likes this idea of paying down. There were all of these punt tight ends that lined up that also correlated with nice stacks. So Rudolph, Akins, and Fercer were all getting tossed in. But what is the one exception we talk about when we pay up for tight ends? It's, can they separate massively from the rest of the tight ends? And Waller certainly fit that bill on the slate. Normally that bill comes along with a 25-30% ownership tag in the case of like Kelsey. And here we were getting it at sub 10%, a guy who could pull away from 3 chalk tight ends. Like, what the fuck were we doing?
Do you think
I'm guilty of game log watching a little. What do you think, Joe?
Well, do you think part of the Darren, I know someone kind of mentioned this in the chat, and this is kind of what I was thinking too. Like, do you think part of the Darren Waller being as low as he ended up being, like, had something to do with Booker as well? Like, people are just jamming in Booker from like these Vegas stacks, or I guess these Vegas teams overall, and they didn't want to play both of those guys because in theory, the tight end and like the running back maybe significant negative correlation there in terms of touchdowns. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. I didn't think Waller would be anywhere near as low as he was.
And that's going back to me saying, maybe I should have just played less of these chalk running backs, period, instead of trying to find my favorite ones. Was I have a lot of teams with 3 running backs. And if you look at Booker versus Waller straight up, like if you said Waller was going to be 6%, well, we didn't know Waller was going to be 6%, but even if you said Waller was going to be 10% and Booker was going to be 25 to 30, who would you take straight up? Like, you'd probably take Waller, right? Like, and so I think like I thought about the running back position too much against other running backs and not like maybe as a whole. I know someone's pointing out in the chat too, the game script didn't project to be good, but that's it. Game scripts are tough to predict, even with a 10-point spread. And obviously the Jets scored more points than they have all year long. And that is not something you're going to predict and assume. But if the game script's bad and Waller scores 35 and not 48, I mean, you're still like he still broke this slate with these tight end scores.
And again, like it didn't even take a lot of, I mean, we have been attacking this Jets defense like all year long. So the game script concern, it's been the bring back has been the concern for attacking the Jets. Like no one has ever thought twice about loading up your Chargers, loading up your Chiefs against these guys. So to me, it just made a ton of sense to go after it. But I think, I don't know why. Go ahead.
I just also need to tilt that like Dink kind of goaded me into a 10-1 bet on Frank Gore scoring 20 fantasy points. And Ty Johnson scored 20 fantasy points after Frank Gore went out with a concussion on like the second play of the game or something. So that was just like another.
So you paying half of that?
It's just added to
half of those dues since you kind of got there, kind of didn't get there.
I feel like I should have just made it a Jets running back. That's what I should have done. Any Jets running back.
No. P Ryan week is over.
But yeah. The Mims stuff. I mean, Crowder gets the 2 touchdowns, and I'm not even kicking myself off on the Crowder stuff. I was saying to you in chat was tough to project because long term, he's the better play on volume, but he didn't get there racking up catches. He scored 2 touchdowns short. Like I would have felt worse if Crowder got there scoring a lot, catching 11 balls like he does sometimes. And I was like, oh, I just gave into the recent volume too much, but that's not even how he got there.
Yeah. Dan Ferreira in the chat just got here. I assume the lineup is not doing well. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Dan, come on down. Collect your prize.
Oh, I keep accidentally hitting the nosebleed lineup. Sorry about that, Leone.
Stop it, Joe. Stop it. I'm gonna go on strike if you put that lineup.
What was the entry fee on that one? Just so that people probably don't even know what we're talking about.
You are gonna lose.
A
small Prius.
Levitan and Wiggins, they convinced me to play this nosebleed. I'm gonna blame them, even though it doesn't really take much prodding for me to get reckless. Yeah, let's just say it was a bad week, and the bankroll is gonna have to go through some discipline training this week upcoming. We had some hot weeks early. We got a little loose. It's time to tighten up.
Where are we at right now?
Max entering the $3.20 max next week for the tilt space. That's kind of my
seriously.
speed.
What are we gonna do? Because this is the first time where it's like we've been slowly losing, but we had some min cashes in. But then last week was pretty bad, and then this week obviously was killer. This is the lowest our bankroll's been since we hit the 50K win. We've lost about 20K since then.
When you put it that way.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better. Good. Here I am all excited because I'm currently returning $4 on FanDuel for the first time in 3 hours. And you're just kicking me right down.
Look, we're up 30K on the season, and we took some shots. It's what we dreamed of, guys. Okay, we had a big win. We were able to take some shots. We would have taken that going into the year. Okay, it's not like we're dead. I mean, we're up. We've 3x the bankroll, guys, and it was a big bankroll. But yeah, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do moving forward. I definitely think we struggled making just one lineup.
Definitely,
I think part of that was due to the week specifically, but also we'll get back to three max stuff. I think it's just a little bit easier, especially with 3 brains. Like we can all get in what we want. Really like if we have 3 lineups. We probably would have played a Raider stack if we had 3.
I think if we had 3 today, we would have done a Kyler, a Taysom, and a Carr.
We would have played a Taysom for sure.
Well, those are and we were trying. We had fiddled with 2 different builds this morning, and one of them was the Taysom, and we ended up going back to the Kyler. And again, reminding people, this field size that we're in is 235 people. So we decided to go heavy on the game stack and try to hit a contrarian game. Didn't work out. GG. See you next week.
213th. That's not bad, right? We broke 100.
We weren't gonna win no matter what, but the Taysom teams and the Carr teams, we would have cashed those.
And I mean the Tannehill teams are the ones that took it down. The interesting thing of looking at those is you see the teams that win the Millie Maker, and it's like Tannehill with Corey Davis, no AJ Brown, bring back with Donovan People, blah, blah, blah. But 180 degrees Miami, who's in first of this contest right now, he would have had the Tannehill type of stack we would have made, although maybe not necessarily, because we would have probably tossed in Fercer. He goes Tannehill, AJ Brown, Corey Davis brings it back with Landry. Getting to Corey Davis there is the tournament winner.
I don't think we would have played both those running backs together.
Someone asks, I did play Tannehill stack, but I did Tannehill, Fercer, AJ Brown, Landry coming back. I was not playing it. In MME, I would have played Corey Davis, but I'm not an MME guy. I wasn't getting on Corey Davis. I wasn't getting off Fercer and the Tannehill stuff, so I wouldn't have a Waller, so I still would have lost.
That was a weird game.
And that's the other thing too. If we start with a Taysom team, we probably don't play Adams as much as we love Adams, because we probably can't get there if you do Michael Thomas and an Atlanta bring back. So we were kind of the only thing we could have hit on is if we did a Ruggs, Waller, Carr, and then we had a bring back with Mims that was bad but not terrible, and then I don't know, maybe we get lucky with the running backs we chose. The Jonathan Taylor play worked out, but we weren't playing Montgomery.
Wait. And Jalen Hurts pass to Greg Ward. Touchdown?
It was
cool, fun week.
The thing about too, my Carr lineup, you get Carr to Waller, but then I have Aguilar and Mims. And like you said, maybe you find yourself to Ruggs. You're probably never finding yourself to Crowder. Even hitting the skinny stack, right? There's still a lot of landmines around it. But just the way we play. We're never going to just play a Carr to Waller with no bringbacks and no additional pieces. Like the way that game's set up, that would just never happen.
Yeah, for sure. And even the Ruggs thing, like semi Hail Mary at the end. Like, what,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're kicking yourself process wise for not having it. It would have been nice and worked out results wise, but what did he have before that? 4 points, 4 fantasy points. And even Carr, I mean, Carr was still very good, but what was that? A 6-point Carr play? Like he's in the upper 20s instead of
Yeah.
the mid 30s. That's pretty. Oh my God. Is Patriots D going to score a third time? Oh, they just returned a punt to the 15-yard line. They almost scored a third time. Wiggins is going to give me so much shit this week because he was all about this rookie quarterback narrative against Bill Belichick. And
Really?
I'm just like, oh my God.
I was basically just going like this after Xing out the most popular defenses at 3 p.m. Just like trying to figure out which one. Just never landed on the Patriots. So
Leone, I just imagine you like in the ETR Slack, just like with your sword, just battling the narratives, the age models, the penis model. You know, you're just.
It's hard. Even Dinks abandoned me this year because he's not working on the projections as much. So now we've got like mega RBs matter, truth or dink this year. He's just like really just bought into that.
Watching you struggle too.
I'm sure he is.
I was looking at something like Labs has that tool where you can basically like look at like ownerships at different contests. So you can see like which guys were like much higher owned at higher stakes versus lower stakes. Fercer was the #1 like GPP grade, they call it, for being much higher owned at the higher stakes. Montgomery, Cook, Kupp, Gaskin, Devontae Adams. But some of the guys that were like the opposite of that were relatively owned, like some of these guys, Cam Akers was like 4% in small field somehow, or in large fields, single dollar kind of like lower stakes stuff. What was one of the other ones? TJ Hawkinson was much higher owned at the low stakes. Russell Wilson much higher owned at the low stakes. Michael Pittman.
So I have to interrupt you to tilt Lewis with his. It's not narrative though if it's real, isn't it? Listen, man. Justin Herbert is not your average rookie quarterback. This is not the same Patriots defense we've seen in the past. So I mean, whatever. You know, there is one narrative this week though that
don't do it.
We really should have.
Don't do it.
Bought into because T.Y. Hilton, he crushes the Texans, and I don't think we considered him at all.
No one knows. No, not one person in the chat thinks you're serious right now.
No, what's so brutal is our CEO at Line Movement, Chris, he was on TY. He wanted to jam him, and Holka, man, he talks him out of
too sharp,
man.
Hilton. He's just too sharp. I don't know why he listens to me.
I mean, just such a tough scene, man.
I mean,
everyone knows he smashes Houston.
That's fine, but like if you just sometimes you got to pull up those game logs, Joe, every single time against Houston. You're just fighting the math at that point.
They've had the same like defensive like front and defensive players for like years now, right? Like it's the same exact players that we're talking about that he just torches.
Dude, just
crazy.
like don't. I mean,
that's my leak. That's my leak.
He just gets up for the Texans. I don't know.
Gets up for the Texans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everyone saw it. Like he looked way better last week for the record, though. He had that big touchdown play.
Dink hit me with Derek Carr is going to be focused this week after he laid an egg against the Atlanta narrative, which simultaneously great call. Derek Carr goes nuts, but also they were a semi Hail Mary away from losing to the Jets. So like, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
A lot of people agree with the TY play here, guys. Maybe we missed something here.
I think you missed something.
You missed something.
Leone and I were different. You were talking.
You guys brought him up multiple times. I get it. Yeah. Okay.
There was not a single person that said, "Should I play T.Y. Hilton this week?" And I said, "No."
Yeah, I physically pulled him out of our lineup in the 4K entry. Like I made sure we didn't play him. That's pretty much what happened. Yeah, we had to make room for Akers in there or Akins. He doesn't even deserve to get his name called right. Why I need to X out of the nosebleed. Actually, you know what, Leone? The good news is hang on.
This is an out of context.
No. The good news is that in the 4-4-4-4, there was someone that just didn't submit a lineup. So
What?
opponent failed to draft in time. Winnipegger 2100. How rich? Just wake up.
Well,
Just don't. Not even a dummy lineup. Don't need it.
well, and he's having the same day as us. So,
Respect. I mean, he didn't spend as
we
much time on his lineup than we did for sure.
let's tilt. I want to take a minute here to tilt Myles Gaskin today because my God, he was popping in the Peter injury return model. Obviously, we knew he was going to get steamed a little bit, especially in the high stakes stuff. He ends up at 34.5%, but he should have had 30 DraftKings points today. Stuffed multiple times at the goal line, fumbling on a big run. They're running the I formation up the gut multiple times. Like, what happened with Myles Gaskin today?
Andy falls just short of the bonus. I had 3 backs. Him, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara were my contrarian backs who all, I think, were within like 15 to 20 yards of the bonus or something or like that. But Gaskin got the work we wanted him to get, right? I mean, the thesis was there. We did have some Lynn Bowden mixed in. We had some Patrick Laird mixed in, but like there was some leeway there at his price point, and he just didn't find the box. Those goal line carries were spread over like 3 or 4 red zone trips. It's not like it was over just 1 or 2. I mean, so that's legitimately 3 opportunities for touchdowns.
He could have outscored David Montgomery if he ran more pure today.
I didn't even know Alfred Morris was still in the league, if I'm being completely honest. He's a lot more points than Austin Eckler currently.
But even if he outscores David Montgomery, you still need David Montgomery probably, right? I mean,
to win, yeah.
And even Montgomery, right? The Bears are up 2 scores late in the 4th. The game's pretty much over. There's no more offense. Matt Stafford comes back. They score 2 touchdowns, and then Montgomery catches some dump offs on the Bears, desperation drive. And that's other than that doesn't happen. Him and JT are the same. Well, I'm hearing Rager return a punt for TD, which would be pretty exciting. Would that pull them within 1 score? I would love to see Hurts with the ball only down 1.
Dude, this is so perfect. The Eagles can't even get their first round rookie pick the ball in the context of their regular offense, but he fucking returns a punt for a touchdown. Get your playmakers the ball. We are done with Alshon Jeffrey. I am done with Greg Ward. Usher in the Fulgham Rager area. Come on.
What happened to the big dog this week? 9,200, 6.9 points. Is that good?
Not enough people owned him for him to go off.
Correct.
But this is why you fade big dog when he's chalk and play him when he's not, because the range of outcomes every week is this wide. He scored sub 10 points against Jacksonville. Don't forget it. You can say Cleveland was a tough matchup. You can say the game script was bad, but he scored sub 10 points against Jacksonville. And he's also scored 30 plus points in negative game scripts before. So there's just no rhyme or reason to it. There's just nothing to it. And he didn't end up that chalky, but that's kind of like what tilts me again with my like Booker decision of going like heavy Booker. I don't mind having some Booker, but I go heavy Booker, and 25% is still chalk. And that's what it was and I faded 25% Derrick Henry. Like he wasn't mega chalk, but he was still chalky, and I faded him, and it was great. And I don't know, I just didn't apply that same thought process. I think I got a little too like, I'm going to pick the right guy. I'm smart this week.
When we look back at in a completely process, non-tilt oriented way, are there any ownership percentages in our lineup that we would not have rostered if we would have known the ownership? Obviously, we've already done the Waller thing, but I mean of plays we actually made. Because I would say these ownerships are pretty in line with what I think we were expecting.
Leone, I mean, we haven't talked about your Justin Taylor play here, or your Jonathan Taylor. Justin Taylor. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I wasn't on that at all, to be completely honest. So at 8.5%, like he got 1 touchdown taken away from him, which we were tilting, obviously, but over 100 total yards, gets in the box, only 3 catches, but good for you. 50, like right in that same price range as like all these other guys, basically, right?
It ran a little pure because they had kind of a fluky 4th down play where he was uncovered and took a swing pass to the house. The thesis of the play was that last time he played, Wilkins only played 9 snaps and Taylor had 20 plus carries. And I just thought, it was a good matchup. We could see a heavy run script in the second half. And there's a chance, all projection systems kind of like they can't bury Wilkins, who ended up playing and seeing action in this game. They can't bury him, but there's a chance that we just see heavy Taylor. And he was the same price as the guys that were going to be just mega more owned. So it was lucky to an extent. It was a little unlucky we didn't get the bonus, and he could have easily outscored Montgomery. So I guess it kind of netted out even. I guess we would have eaten the cup chalk with our stack. Even 40% is pretty high, though. I'm a little surprised it was quite that high.
Do we know what Woods was in this?
But I think he was owned quite a bit too.
Because that was
28.1%. Yeah.
We probably, if we know that, because like when I was looking at projections, they were pretty similar. But I think if we know a 12 percentage point disparity, we probably take Woods.
Yeah,
probably.
Woods 20.
It's hard because they're both such chalk numbers that it's like, well, it's chalk anyways.
They were the same.
It's still a big difference.
They were both 20% in the milli. And higher stakes cup was much higher owned.
And the thing we were talking through, because we knew we were in kind of rough shape early, and we were thinking, okay, is there anything we can do to shake this lineup up? But we knew the Kyler, Nuke, Isabella was already going to be very unique. We knew Jones was going to be under owned. So then it really came down to cup, and it's like, but if we need this stack to hit a ceiling, someone on the Rams has to have a good game. So it was almost a necessity. And it's like, we're not just going to go down from Cooper Kupp to, Josh Reynolds just at the sake of being mega unique.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I guess like Akins, we really thought would be like Akins 15% kind of sucks, but we knew he was going to be lower than Fercer, and Fercer was what, like 25%. So
Fercer was 41.3%.
Good Lord. Yeah, I guess. So this is a question I have for you guys. It's kind of similar to my point I've been making about Devontae Booker, where he was less than half Montgomery, which is great, but he was still chalky. What do you think about Akins here, where he's a third of Fercer, which is great, but he's also still 15% with like no floor? Like,
so, but the reason I feel good about it is that's how we landed on him. We thought Fercer would give us good cover. And then the other nice little tiebreaker was we were doing a little mini correlation. This is me. The dirt is being shoveled on my grave and I'm gasping through the dirt, but the lineup was correlated. Akins was correlated with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, I think none of us wanted to play Cooks. So at least somewhat leverage off of Cooks, like in theory, I guess.
Leverage off Cooks, Cootie.
That's what I'm saying.
A good point, Joe.
So like, if we're going to play one guy from that game, might as well just take the tight end who we thought had at least a reasonable chance to see as many targets, or I guess be like a third of the ownership of Fercer. So I don't think that was that bad, to be honest.
You mean we should have? Don't you think we should have played Dan Arnold at tight end and Kiki Kuti at wide receiver?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Along with our Baker Mayfield stacks with. Basically, Ty Johnson.
But I do think it's a little bit interesting, is like, if I told you Akins was going to be 15% and that was the only information you had, would you think he's a good play?
Well, here's the thing. If Kyle Rudolph in this contest comes in at 6.4%, if you would have told me that ahead of time, I said, let's play Kyle Rudolph.
Right.
And then he bagels. But from a pure process standpoint, give me Rudolph at 6.4% over Akins.
But I don't know. But Akins also, it's correlated. It's leverage off Fercer and it's leverage off the Houston guys. So like 15 seems like acceptable given all those other factors. I just think it's interesting the way we think about plays, like relative to other plays versus like just relative to the ownership itself. Looks like Hurts is going to get the ball back down a score, which is kind of exciting.
For who?
I don't know. I'm just like a Jalen Hurts fan, man. I don't know. It's just for football, man.
What? What? Our DFS lineups are dead. We're just football guys. This is just good for the game. Getting this rookie in here, it's electrifying.
Michael Thomas 9% though, and Taysom Hill 2. That's a little lower than I thought for Taysom.
Oh God,
That's kind of nice.
It
Leone?
wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. But
Leone, we should have just merged our takes and played Taysom, Kamara, and MT.
Man.
And Kamara didn't really get there though.
He was fine.
He was fine. No, we should have just played Waller, Devontae.
Can someone
This is a week though. Like I was not winning this week.
No.
There were ways I could have cashed, but I was not winning. Which before the show, I made this point. It makes last week hurt more because we got so much right and like low owned things right. And just because of Tyreek, it didn't matter. And weeks like this week where there's very little chance of us winning anyways are coming, that it hurts to not get paid off last week. Although I guess if you played Waller and the Spy, so maybe you feel a little bit like last week where you played Waller and the Spy and no.
I mean, my thing is, so I played both of the Spies, and again, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I was on the right things in both lineups, but I needed the combination of those. I have Patriots D in my Taysom Hill, Michael Thomas lineup. I have Derek Carr and Waller in the other lineup, and I pivoted off of Adams in the 1-2 where I was behind. So it's like I had all the right things. If I combine those two lineups or make a third, mashing those up, I'm in good shape. But that's how it goes. Like you have to be perfect in these lineups.
Trying to find your team, Pete, because we don't have much.
Gunner is going off. Stidhum to Gunner for 38-yard TD.
Who played the Gunner double dip?
Dude, Peter Jennings, dude, he was just hitting me up all morning. He's like, you got to double dip Gunner, man. He kept sending me these little sprinkling emojis.
Oh my God. I'm sorry I have to type because Wiggins is going off on this stupid narrative of Bill Belichick. Only a 30-game sample. Surely noise.
Tell us what you wrote back. And I hope it's just fuck off.
It was yeah, because Herbert is a regular rookie QB. I'm tilting you so hard. I can't even think straight. I got to type these words.
Go all caps. It'll help. Did the Seahawks just lose to the Giants at home?
Yeah, what the hell?
With Colt McCoy at quarterback. I mean, the Seahawks are broken, but I hope Pete Carroll got to his 50 combined rush attempts and pass attempts. I hope he hit that magic number.
I mean, the play was just to jam Gallman and Alfred Morris, man. Clearly.
Oh, Kenyon Drake fumbles. Oh, he recovered it.
I mean,
Kenyon Drake, I'm done with Kenyon Drake. I've been done with him forever. I've actually never been on him except maybe when he was a rookie. Can we talk about DK Metcalf just stiff-arming James Bradbury into another dimension?
I didn't see it.
Oh, it was good.
Also, speaking of Metcalf, if we had known his ownership, we would have jammed him, right?
Yeah. What did he come in on in this contest?
9% in the milli. Yeah, 3% in the 4-4-4-4. That's much lower than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, some of the guys that if I had known ownership and would have jammed, I would have lost on. Like, I knew Keenan Allen would be really low, but I would have jammed Metcalf at 3%. Are you kidding me?
I did jam Metcalf at 15%. He was in every lineup you sent me. I keep getting screenshots. I wake up at 3 a.m. with a screenshot from Leone. There's only one guy in the lineup, DK Metcalf. He goes, "What do you think of this?" I was like, "I don't know. You're gonna put some other guys around it?" He's like, "I just wanted to send you a lineup with DK Metcalf in it."
Oh, goodness gracious. And that's another, speaking of game scripts not predictable, Seattle loses the game. It's not like they weren't trying to throw.
Yeah.
Oh, did Hurts throw a pick? Or did they have to punt? Or what happened? I want him to get the ball back.
Well, how much showdown action are we going to have him play here, fellas? Anytime it's a bad day, he's got to double it down, so it's a terrible day.
I don't tilt like that. When it's a bad day, I just kind of want to
Start over tomorrow.
I just want to get away from it. You know, when we log off here, I want to not think about football. But I know a lot of people are wired differently, where it's like, yeah, let's play Showdown, let's get it back.
I just feel like that's never really worked out for me. Anytime I like tilt enter something later on, it's like instantly like 0 return, like no fucking chance.
Well, what you should do, Joe, is just have Andrea build your Showdown lineups.
Yeah, I mean,
this like bit was like funny for a little bit, but it's like actually true. She's like the luckiest single entry Showdown player I've ever met.
I mean, if you
did we just get the Isabella bailout?
No, Dan Arnold says. Dude, Dan Arnold double TD. Wait, someone just said Aaron Jones 75-yard TD. I'll take it. I mean, it's probably not going to do anything for me, but I'll take it.
There's no way that's true.
It's true.
The thesis of the play was correct. The home run ability.
It's an absurd run, too. Oh, so this was the other narrative. This is the only narrative that I will accept this week as a viable narrative, regardless of results. It is Dink's Aaron Rodgers MVP stat chasing narrative, because their play calling by the goal line is egregious.
Who's?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The stat chasing.
Aaron Jones. Is Aaron Jones outscoring Davante Adams now, or is it close?
I don't think so. I don't think
Good
it's
one,
close,
Peter.
actually.
Hey, price in ownership adjusted. Trust the process, baby.
Would you have? So I'm curious your thoughts on this, because I like semi thought about it. I had a lineup with Eckler and Davante Adams. Would you have considered playing Aaron Jones and Davante together if you needed to swap off Chalk Eckler? I went Aaron Jones, DK Metcalf.
That kind of looked at that in some. That would have been hard for me to get on, because I just assume one of those guys can cannibalize the TDs so much.
I also would have been pissed if I did it and saw Metcalf at 3%. Do you know how to? Do you have a? There you go, Peter. Now you're clear.
Why does your camera do that? You're like the only person I know that has to like do that constantly.
I don't know. You sent me the camera, so why don't you ask yourself that question?
That's true. Pete's sounding crispy though with that new mic.
Yeah, dude. Joe Holka hooked me up here.
Andrea hooked you up.
Can you hook me up? Can you hook me up too?
Oh, Pete and I talked about Showdown for what, like 5 minutes the other day on like a Tuesday. It was a random Tuesday game. This is why I was watching Carson Wentz on like a Wednesday or whenever that game was.
You got to give Joe just one little tip when he banks, and he will send equipment to your house. Yeah. And thanks.
It's good.
He will redo your craft room for you if you help him win $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the way she goes. I thought I had all this good karma come my way this week. I'm going to need that microphone back, Pete. Oh, man. What was I looking at? Oh, yeah. I wanted to see what Adams' correlation was with Aaron Jones. It's very negative. 13 games, minus 0.46. Has to be touchdown driven, though. At that point. That's pretty significant.
I mean, when you start getting guys that are that expensive, too, like it's tougher for them to ceiling together. Not that they can't do it, which we just saw it happen. Damn, though, it's just a tough scene for us.
I'm not going to airball now. Thanks, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that
Pete, you can
that
keep your
helped
mic.
my. What's up? Oh, I can keep it. Thank you.
Yep. Until I give this all back in Showdown.
I'm kind of pissed about that, because one, it still did absolutely nothing for me, and two, I wanted to see Hurts with a legitimate chance to tie the game.
Just kind of for football fans across the world to kind of get to enjoy that.
The best part about that run is it only basically pushed one of my teams over the cash line on FanDuel, and it's my Derrick Henry team. My Carr full stack. What a world.
I can't believe you were
not doing anything either. Cool.
Joe did write in our Discord drunk saying that Devontae Booker was the worst play of the week, but he kind of backed off it after, he sobered up a little bit. So I guess we need Joe. You got to make your lineups drunk.
Only play, man. But this is what happens. Like I'll make a lineup on a Tuesday, and then I got all this action. I'm like, I can't have $500 on this team and $3K on this team. I got to have it all equal, right? So then I end up with this random lineup that I built on a Wednesday in the 1K, and then it's just like it's a disaster.
You got to get over this even lineup thing.
I have, for the most part. Not mentally, but.
Oh, Travis Fulgham with an egregious drop. Come on, Travis. Don't you know football fans everywhere want to see this?
I just want to pull this up. I was scrolling back to our conversations last night. Because Leone and I were talking.
Come here.
That's how you know it's a good day.
Micah.
If you would let me go.
Micah, what did you watch a movie earlier?
Here, hold on.
Is that the
Okay,
Bills?
here. Can you see these two guys?
Uh-huh.
Hi, Micah. Did you
Hello,
watch?
man.
I heard you watched a movie earlier. What did you watch?
Ralph.
Wow.
Was it good?
Yeah. It's two.
There's
Yeah.
two of them.
Oh, nice. Are you getting
old one and a new one.
Yeah.
Nice.
What did you ask for Christmas?
I forgot.
Well, only about 20 days until Santa comes, right? So you better figure out what you want.
Christmas.
Real quick,
Yeah.
tell them what you
Well,
want.
Christmas toys.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
Christmas toys. That's a good thing. All right, bye, buddy. I love you.
Bye, Micah.
Micah better tell you to stop playing the nosebleeds, man, or you're going to have to scale back his
No
toys
Christmas
this year.
presents for Micah.
Leone's like, please don't talk about presents. Daddy's got a few
Christmas is
more
every other year, guys. Every other year.
last finishes in his play. Oh boy.
Oh, man. Well,
What games are still going on? What do we even have? New England is up 45-0. Man,
rookie quarterback on the other side, man.
So true, man. Belichick just shuts down these rookie quarterbacks year after year after year.
Well, I figured it out. The only path was Narrative Street everywhere. You know what I mean? We get TY in there. We get the Patriots D. It's smash.
David in the chat says, Micah, the good news is the lineups were correlated.
So good. Santa only comes when the chalk doesn't hit. I like that one too.
I think my nosebleed lineup took a trip to the North Pole with all those snowflakes. Oh, God.
Well, the good news is, guys, like Myles Gaskin got a ton of work in the red zone. So
yeah, we can hang our hats on that. I don't even know, man. I'm done with this week so bad. Where's NBA DFS? Nobody loses at NBA DFS.
That's true. No one loses an NBA DFS. That's a known fact.
Do you know the only thing?
Right.
There's only one thing that could save this week, and that's Jalen Hurts just making a play that all of us can appreciate. Yeah. Just a nice throw. We can all nod our heads and say, that was a good football play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can we sign off now that the game's now that we don't get our real football fandom?
I don't know. Pete's the host. I've had the end screen just ready and holstered for 15 minutes or so.
Oh my goodness.
People talk about Anthony Lynn. I love Anthony Lynn, but he is not head coach. He needs to be fired.
What do you love about him then?
I just have a soft spot because he was here, the Tyrod years here in Buffalo, and they did pretty well. He's just a super nice guy. He's got a pretty unique story. Someone was comparing him to Adam Gase, and I'm just like, no, Adam Gase is straight poison. Anthony Lynn might be a horrific game day coach, but I would take him over Adam Gase 10 times out of 10. But regardless, he needs to be out of there. They need somebody to elevate that team.
Ben FTW wants me to cut a promo on Knowles fan. I was bracing for Knowles fan to come in the chat and just send me off my tilt rocker, but he didn't show his face. I think
Tough day for a while. It's been a while since he's like had a tough day, so maybe he's just completely buried like we are.
He didn't say anything to me all week. Usually we talk a little strategy, so I wonder if maybe he didn't play this
I think
week
he was on Houston pretty heavy because it was like such a condensed target share overall. So maybe he was just really heavy on that and got buried.
maybe he maybe had a chalkitis reaction and had to go to the hospital. Maybe that's what happened. All those Texans in his lineup.
I don't know, Pete. We got to get a head-to-head versus you guys at some point.
Dude, I have so many head-to-heads lining up. I need to do one with Jim Cramer. Now I need to do one with Randone. He was going at it with me last night. Now I need to do one with Knowles fan. I mean, everyone's lining up to play the king.
Well, you got to get a rematch with Lamarca, too.
Oh, God. Lamarca, Dustin V. Drunk building a lineup. Danielle says that sick Leone and Lynn are BFFs. Leone and him used to go out for beers after all the Buffalo games.
Thank you,
All
Danielle.
right. Are we? Do you want me to wrap this up?
I don't care. You're the host, man. You're running the show.
Well,
At what point do we just start playing head-to-heads with our bankroll? Just high stakes head-to-heads.
Well, seriously. So last year I did my bankroll challenge and I was awful at DFS and I was bleeding money. I got down to $100 in my bankroll and I did a head-to-head GPP against Hermsmeyer, beat him by like 1.6 points, defibrillated the bankroll. So like it is a proven strategy. Maybe we just what if we just sit like a high stakes head-to-head?
Should we publicly like attack Chris for like a 5K, like for like the final like 4 or 5 weeks of the year?
Should we? Okay, Chris, you want to go head-to-head with Joe? Finally, stick it to him.
I mean, we're buried.
Head-to-head GPP.
That's right. Well, this is why I love you guys, because I legitimately did not want to go on the show before. I was like, sometimes I'm so sad and so tilted that I'm getting drunk and it's sloppy and I'm like, all right, that's fun. Sometimes we have a sweat and that's fun. Today I was just so dejected, so beaten down. I was like, I don't know what I have to offer. But then I get on here with you guys and I see the chat and I see Leone's smiling face and I see Holka's face and and it brings me life. So thank you guys for helping me tilt through this. All right, you're just not going to say anything.
I thought that was the close.
I almost edited it right there.
I thought that was the close.
Oh, man.
Pete, this is the part where you make fun of the chat for not liking the video. It worked last time. Go.
Yeah. How many people do we have watching right now?
300.
300 people and only 80 likes. There's one dislike from Knowles fan. He's too scared to actually chat, but he hit the thumbs down. You're going to say something, Leone. What do you got?
I got nothing. I was just looking at. I was wondering where Holka got his jerseys. That's my attention's like slowly.
What are you talking about?
You know, those jerseys behind you.
Yeah, two of the most influential players of 2020 right behind Joe.
Yeah, team running backs matter.
Yeah, I got the we'll go through a little tour. We got the Hulk Hogan boot top left, and then we got Travis Kelce, we got Gronk, we got Kittle. So we got our elite tight end area over there. And we got Kamara up there. We got Zeke here. What else we got? I did have a David Johnson, but I took that one down. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Buying running back memorabilia, not the play. But yeah, it's a little bit. It's a faded background now with this camera. It's a little bit harder to see. Anyways.
I can't believe you're right. I was building to a very rousing close, and then I didn't land the plane, and now I have to get back there again. So let's try. We're on a journey together, guys. Sometimes it will go well. Sometimes it will go poorly. But ultimately, it's not about the money won or the money lost. It's about the friends and the tilt partners made along the way. And that's what you guys are. So on behalf of Michael Leone, Joseph Holka, and Peter Daniel Overzet, thank you for tuning into the Tilt Space. Please subscribe to the channel, like the damn video, download the podcast on iTunes, and we'll see you guys next time.